comme ni ñu leen ko présenté woon suñu agriculture bi ñu commencé tey ñu am Layla di soxna soo xam ne fii la nekk New York États-Unis comme ni ñu leen ko waxee woon dem Sénégal def ay recherche yu am solo ci Baye Fall yi di cinéaste ñëw fii ci musée yi ak ci galerie yi ak ci salle de cinéma yi mu def fay exposition wane fa culture Baye Fall culture sénégalaise mu nekk succès bu am solo tey moom la ñu am ci Pikine Diaspora Radio tey nag programme bi en anglais lañ koy def puisque Layla dina for na ay baatu wolof rek mais en anglais lañ koy def ba pare di ko traduire en même temps pour askan bi yëpp jëriñu ci donc Ibou ma jox la kàddu gi.
sunu mbokku déglukat yi ñoo ngi leen di nuyu seen tur ak seen sant kon ñu koy defee dimanche bu nekk tey nag dañoo am benn invité bi nga xam ne moom mun nañu wax ni photojournalisme lay def en même temps artiste la moo ngi tudd Layla Amatullah Barrayn moom nag moo ngi dëkk fii ci New York la basé wu particulièrement à Brooklyn Layla nag def liggéey yi nga dafa dem Touba dem Ndindi dem dëkk yu bëri def documentaire yi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy Baay Faal yi li ko intéressé woon mooy seen mode de vie seen spiritualisme ak seen résistance. Layla, how are you?
Oh, I'm very good. Nanga def?
Oh, maa ngi fi Layla.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Layla, you in live and direct on Culture Pikine Diaspora, which is a diaspora radio based in New York.
Thank you, Jaja.
Yeah, you're welcome, and we're really happy to have you today to talk about your photography, your art, and your spirituality, and your commitment to the Black and African diaspora.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And this radio is based in New York, and we've been interviewing like African artists around the diaspora, from Germany to Paris, from Paris to Africa, and you among those people. So welcome here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate what you're doing. It's a global conversation because we are on the continent of Africa, but we are also around the world. We are the diaspora, and our conversations keep going strong. It's very important. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Ibu dama bëgg a wax foofu li nga introduire da nga nuyoo daal di ne kat ñu ngi dalal Layla mi nga xamante ne bi artiste international la nekk ci diaspora bi di noir comme ñun léegi moom la ñuy dalal ci page art et culture bi Layla kontaan daal di ne vraiment moom mu ngi ci biir ndax li global diaspora la donc te ñun ñëpp ñoo bokk culture ñun noir yi donc Layla ñu ma delloo la kàddu gi.
Okay, Layla, thank you for the introduction. Before we start, Layla, I just would like to ask you to introduce yourself. Who is Layla?
Okay, so my name is Layla Amatullah Barrayn. I am a photographer here. I live in New York City. I live in Brooklyn, New York. I'm a documentary photographer. I've been doing this work for about 13 years. I love to travel. I love Senegal, of course, and I was just very happy to finally complete this project on the Baye Fall, on the Maurice of Senegal.
Okay, sen mu ngi dem ci tradition bi.
waaw nee na depuis 13 ans mu ngi def liggéey bi mu ngi basé wu fii moom New York nekk Brooklyn plus particulièrement di def ay documentaire di cinéaste di def ay di liggéey ci wàllu art bi nee na mu ngi nag sant yàlla bi mu demee ba réalisation bu mag bi nga xam ne mooy reportage bi def ci Baye Fall yi ba gis ci loo xamante ne bi vraiment macha allah. Donc Ibu ma fàttali rek we have also Hassan Ba from New Jersey. He's on the line too and will be part of the conversation.
Okay. Hassan, do you want to say ask something to Layla before we go any further?
Yes. Hi Layla, how are you?
Hi, Nangada.
Alhamdulillah. I am not surprised, but I am impressed. And I really would like to give you a hug at this point in this Ramadan month. But just, I'm sure you can feel the vibration without even me being there physically with you.
Absolutely.
So we want to welcome you in this to this program, and as you continue this dialogue further, we will have more questions for you, because I think the questions were already asked by our colleague. You introduced yourself very well, so just carry on, and then we'll be here to have a conversation with you along the program.
Thank you.
Yeah. So welcome. Carry on, please.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you.
Asan na kontaan na ci loolu si li nga xam ne lay présenté na ko téléphone boppam nee na yaakaar na ne si biir waxtaan bi dina am question yi nga xam ne dina ko laaj. Layla, my first question is, how long have you been going to Senegal?
Wow. So my first trip to Senegal was in 2000. So that was 15 years ago, and I went as a student. And it was amazing. It was an incredible trip. I went with the City University of New York, and then after that, I went back in 2004. And then I took a long break because I was working on so many projects and traveling the world. Then I finally went back again in 2013.
waaw mu ngi wax ne mu ngi njëkk a dem Sénégal en 2000 en tant qu'étudiante boo xam ne mu ngi nekk New York University bi nekk fii université prestigieuse la NYU fa la nekkoon en tant qu'étudiante njëkk a dem Sénégal bi mu demee nag mu am fa impression ci impact bi ko voyage bi def mu dellu en 2004 bi mu delloo 2004 continue liggéeyam jóge fa daal di demaat en 2013 ci compte boppam nag ci la def liggéey bu rëy bi nga xamante ni bi tey moom la ñuy waxtaanee Ibu ma joxe.
Layla, I really like your work. I appreciate your work because I've seen many of your shows in the Skylight Gallery in Brooklyn, and right now you're having a show going on in at Makota. And your work is about spirituality, is about love, is about community, because you are a very engaged community artist. So can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to do a documentary about the Baifal of Senegal?
Yeah, so I actually started photographing the Baifal when I was there 15 years ago. They were the first people that I saw. And I was just very curious to know about who they were, what the history was. I had a lot of questions. I saw a lot of pictures of Serena Amadubamba and Iba Fall. I saw the pictures everywhere in the taxi cabs and the stores. I saw the pictures around in the talismans around the neck. And so I was just very curious. So I did start to photograph when I was there a long time ago. But when I got back to New York, that's when I really started to learn about the community and who they were in terms of their political community and also their spiritual community. I saw myself in the Murids in the Baifal because I'm also Muslim and I also come from a Sufi tradition. So I saw so many similarities, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. This is how Sufism looks in Senegal, and I like this. And it's very, prideful in Senegalese culture. It's very humbling in terms of being a Muslim and humbling yourself to Allah. So I really just wanted to engage that through my photography,
Thank you, Sam.
Waaw Ibu Layla li mu wax dafa am solo puisque nee na bi mu ne njëpp Sénégal li ko njëkk impressionné mooy te loolu ku dem Sénégal ne lay impressionné mooy photo sëriñ yi ngay gis ci oto yi boo duggee ci taxi yi yaa ngi gis boo duggee ci car rapide yaa ngi gis boo rombee boutique yi yaa ngi gis photo Sëriñ Tuubaa Maam Cheikh ni ñaa ngi ko gàll seen baat nee na nag image yooyu muy gis loolu frappé ko mu ne nag mu commencé def ay photographie ci loolu di photo image yooyu di photo image yooyu nee na moom it en tant que jullit mu commencé gis boppam ci culture boobu bi mu commencé gis boppam ci loolu nag li nga xamante ne bii mooy liggéey bi Baye Fall def ak humilité bi ni ñu woyofee ak ni ñu nekkee communauté loolu impressionné ko nag mu commencé ci liggéey bi liggéey boobu nag moo ko indi ba fii fa nga xamante ni bi ci la réaliser documentaire bu mag boobu nga xam ne ci Baye Fall ko def au niveau du Sénégal.
Yeah, I'm going like to make a show. Layla.
Yeah.
Yeah, Layla. While you were there, did you? And I heard that you converted, correct?
Converted what, in Senegal?
Yeah. Did you, or you were Muslim prior to going?
Yeah. My family.
You were Muslim.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay. Did you find a spiritual leader while you were there? Did you pick one? Because usually they want you to do that.
Yeah. Well, before I went to Senegal, I was with another tariqa, and so that's why I felt so much kinship toward the Sufis that were there, because I was just like, well, I know what this is about. I know what this humility is about. I know what the Hasidah is about, and I love that I saw it in Senegal. So I felt like I was recognizing something that was already in myself.
Okay, but as far as you stayed with a family in Touba, correct? Did you stay in Touba, or you were just going in and out of Touba and visiting at the same time?
I was visiting at the same time. Actually, I was in Mbake. They have like a house you can stay in, so I would put my stuff there, and then I would go back and forth, traveling back and forth. So I would be in the region. Yeah, so it was a lot of traveling, like going to Dindi, going to Touba, going back and forth. I would have all my things in Mbake and then go back and forth there. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I had a lot of stuff.
Waaw Assane daf ko laaj ndax avant ngay dem Sénégal nga nekk jullit wala da nga dem ba Sénégal doog a tuub nekk jullit mu ne moom avant muy dem Sénégal le tuub nekk jullit loolu moo gën a yombal nekkam foofu parce que bi mu demee gis boppam sentir ne lii kat suma diine la suma aada la suma culture parce que Baye Fall yi ni mu gisee couleur yi ñuy sol ak ni ma ko waxee sànq ak ndomba baat yi ñuy takk sëriñ seeg yëpp loolu impressionné ko mu commencé ci def ay gëstu ba gis ci boppam puisque bi ko Assane laajee ne ko ndax am nga fa sëriñ bi nga demee comme par exemple ni ngay nekkee taalibe mu ne moom bon xamoon na xasida mu ngi doon gëstu en tant que jullit gëstu ay xasida xam affaire yu bari ci diine donc loolu daf ko gën a yombal liggéey bi mu gis boppam ci biir loolu neex ko te nee na bi ko Assane laajee ndax Touba la nekkoon kese mu ne non nekkuloon Touba kese puisque dem na ay Mbàkke dem na fu nekk mais daal Baye Fall daal la doon def reportage ci ñoom may fàttali ko si
Brotherhood. The Murid Brotherhood was founded by Sheikh Ahmad Bamba in 1883, and Sheikh Ibrahim Fall became his first disciple, his first worshiper, and now it's getting stronger because of that, Touba has become like a major learning center.
Yeah.
And the teaching of Sheikh Ahmad Bamba and the teaching of Imam Ibrahim Fall was like to teach people to become like humble, to have a humble lifestyle. Yeah. How did you deal with the humbleness of the Baye Fall when you were in Touba?
Well, what exactly do you mean? Because
in terms of lifestyle, like how humble they are. They not believe in material life and materialism.
Okay. Well, I think the lifestyle that I maintain in New York City, I am very minimalist. I don't have many things. I just have my camera, which is what I produce with, and just the basic necessities. So for me to be in Touba, it transformed pretty well. I was very comfortable. The Maurice and the Baye Fall, they were very welcoming to me, and I understood the lifestyle, and I understood what it meant, especially, as a Muslim, your focus is on, the worship. Your focus is on the humility, and your focus is on, pleasing Allah. So it wasn't very foreign to me.
Yeah.
Layla, just a question here. Who is your target?
Assane,
Who is my target?
Yeah, who's your target in the United States and the diaspora? Because as you see, it is not an easy material to carry over and spread and expect open arms due to the transliteration of the English and the Quran and the African traditions and so on. So I mean, I know it's not going to be an easy road ahead of you. However, but who do you target? Who's your first benchmark, for instance, in terms of putting out your work?
When you say target, I am not exactly sure what you're talking about. Are you saying like when I created this project, who did I want to see it?
Exactly.
Oh, I want everyone to see it. I every time I tell a story, I want I intend for it to be a conversation piece. So even if people know about the Maurids, I would want them to come and see and talk about it, and maybe engage with me, maybe share some things I didn't know, or just even make the project bigger and add to it. And for people who don't know, I would want them to be introduced to the Maurids and the Bifal in a very positive way, in a very way that's informative and factual, and just have a lot of something, a project with a lot of integrity. So I would want to represent the Bifal and the Maurids in a very truthful and integral way. So that's what I like to do.
Because I know that Brooklyn is certainly a good stepping stone, that's for sure. So
Brooklyn, Harlem.
Yeah, Brooklyn. So hopefully, Allah will guide those steps along the way, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was very happy that I was able to show it in Brooklyn, and also part of this exhibition is in Italy too. It's in Florence. And so there's a huge population there as well of the Maurids and Bifal that are in Florence too. So actually the show is in New York, and it's in Italy at the same time, which I think is cool.
Very good.
And the more Brooklyn has a population of the West Indies, not only Black Americans, but the West Indians are based in Brooklyn, which means that there is a culture, a black culture there in Brooklyn, because we see the carnival every year, the West Indies carnival, organized in Brooklyn. It's a place where black people interact.
Yeah, definitely. I think projects like this, there's so many photographers in the world that are doing an amazing job at representing the diaspora and then sharing the pictures with everyone. It's just a very important conversation to have and to keep going and to continue, And I like that when we see each other in each other. So I like that when we recognize each other, because we're all one, We have our different cultures, and physically we're around the world and we're experiencing different things, but we do have that singular thing that we can always go back to, which is our, coming from Africa.
All right. Quickly, before Mamadou does the translation, have you had a chance, and I think you did, to do the correlation between Rastafarianism and the Bifal in terms of course, the look, first of all, and the commitment, the spiritual engagement that you would find, within the Rastafari, and compare that to what you saw in Tuba?
Well, I didn't do, I thought about that when I was creating this work, and of course I would have people would ask me questions about the similarities. But I think I had more engagement with the Bifal in Senegal than I did with the Rastas in Jamaica. I've only been to Jamaica once. But I know that there's many Jamaicans here in New York City. But I haven't engaged so much, so I'm not able to make so much of the connections. But I do know that there is a connection, like you said, with, of course, the hair. There's some differences. And, of course, the commitment that they have to God and to the people. Yeah. So,
Good. Okay. It's fascinating. You are a fascinating person.
Oh. Well, thank you.
Okay. All right, Mamadou, go ahead, please.
waaw Assane daf ko laaj ne ko aussi ndax amul similarité boo xam ne gis na ko ci entre Bifal yi ak Rastafaria comme fii États-Unis, particulièrement Brooklyn boobu ndaw si wax fa la nekk dafa bari ay Jamaïcain, ay waa Barbados, carabins yi dañ fa bari donc Assane laaj ko ndax amul diggante Baye Fall ak Rasta ndax amul lu ñu niroo ak lu ñu bokkale mu ne nag loolu moom defu ci liggéey bu bari ndaxte moom fi mu gën a engagé wu daal moo doon ci côté Baye Fall yi ci la def gëstoom mais ni mu gëstoo ci côté Baye Fall yi gëstoowu ko ci côté Rasta yi donc te loolu moom moo waral daal mënu ci wax loo xamante ne bi sori na loolu Assane aussi laaj na ko ndax bi mu defee liggéey bi ñan la visé woon pour wan leen ko ndax dafa am spécifique comme communauté boo xam ne moom la bëggoon ñu gis liggéey bi wala leneen bon Layla ne ko nag man liggéey bi ma def pour humanité bi yëpp la pour ñëpp gis ko la moo tax mu indi ko fii États-Unis bi mu ko fi indee nag am na ci mbégte ndaxte exposé na ko Brooklyn ak ci salle yi def ci ay documentaire ak photo yi nee na daal am na ci ndam puisque kontaan na ci liggéey bi bi ko Ibou laajee aussi ne ko ndax bi mu demee Sénégal Baye Fall yi comme par exemple dalal bi ñu ko doon dalal ndax yéemuwul ci Baye Fall ni ñu woyofee ak ni ñu ubbeekoo nee na aussi loolu lu ko impressionné la ndaxte yaatal nañ ko moom dafa ñëwoon di liggéey rek di photo di nekk ak Baye Fall yi di wax ak ñoom mais nee na dañ ko yaatal vraiment ak seen woyofaay ak seen mbaax ak seen diine nee na vraiment loolu nekk na loo xam ne neex na ko te kontaan na ci loolu moo tax daal moom gis na boppam ci biir liggéey bi te rëccuwul daal li nga xamante ne bi def na ko donc Ibou ma delloo la kàddu gi.
Oh, okay. Layla, as you know, that the Baye Fall are Sufi Muslims, and they're Muslim people, and for them, working is a kind of worshiping God, Allah, and then be humble and to be tolerant and accept the others.
Yeah.
Do you think that teaching can be spread all over Africa, all over the world, and bring peace and love and eradicate this kind of like terrorism and bad reputation that Islam is having right now?
Well, I think one of the reasons why I did this project is because the Murids is a Muslim community, a Muslim group, that we don't hear. In Senegal, everyone knows who the Murids are, but I think like on a mainstream level, the Baye Fall is not spoken about. And, and their principles, definitely not spoken about. When we hear about some of the smaller Muslim Islamic associated groups, like, I won't name, well, I should, whatever, like oh goodness, I'm sorry. Some of the smaller groups that are on the news, they get a lot of, there's a lot of conversation about it, but then there's also the balance. But even going back to what Islam stands for, Islam stands for peace, and it just does. And so I think that if that story is told more, I think that people would have the opportunity to think about Islam in a different way. Another thing is that the interesting history that the Murids have in Senegal at the onset of French colonialism is very interesting as well. And that's something I wanted to look into as well. Because now, in contemporary times, the Baye Fall now is the legacy of Sheikh Bamba and Ibrahim Fall. It's the legacy. But what they were doing at the time was very revolutionary and very brave. They kind of put off the French, for some time, due to the way they structured and the way they had the stronghold all over the economics. And I think that's a very interesting African story in terms of colonialism, because we just have like the general story of, the colonial powers came and then they took over and then there was independence. But then there's all of these nuances too, and I wanted to show that with the Baye Fall story.
Okay.
waaw Ibou da ko laajoon ndax vraiment soufi comme Baye Fall yi ay soufi lañu ak Sénégal ñu ay soufi lañu foofu suñu diine bi ndax loolu moom gis na ci loo xamante ne bi comme wax yu ñaaw yi nga xam dañ koy teg ci deru jullit yi comme naan ay dañuy ay terroriste lañu ak yooyu ndax li mu gis Sénégal par exemple soufisme boobu mënul def ba nga xamante ne bi dina gën a rafetal deru islam surtout fii au niveau des États-Unis ak li fi xew yëpp gis ngeen attentat yi fi am ak américains yi bët bi ñuy xoolee jullit yi mu ne moom li ko gën a poussé sax mu def liggéey boobu loolu ci la bokk pour wane ne islam kat vraiment am na visage boo xamante ne bii visage yu tolérance la visage yërmande la visage yu bokk ak sa mbokk la visage yu partagé nee na loolu li ko gën a itteeloon aussi ci mu def projet bi mu réaliser ko loolu ci la bokk te loolu mu ngi ciy sant yàlla ndax bi mu duggee ci biir Baye Fall yi dugg ci biir mouridisme puisque nee na bu ñu fàtte ne Baye Fall aussi ndonol maam Cheikh Ibrahima Fall ak Serigne Touba la comme Baye Fall ndonol la foofu te nee na loolu forme révolution la puisque bi Serigne Touba ñëwee nee na indee mouridisme nee na fekkoon na tubaab yi noot ñu économiquement culturellement ak ci côté yu nekk tubaab yi noot ñu ci mais nee na yoon bi nga xamante ne bi moom la Serigne Touba maam ak suñu maam Serigne Touba ak maam Cheikh Ibra loolu la ñu taxawal mu yoonu murit ak yoonu Baye Fall nee na yoon la boo xamante ni bi aussi mu yoonu moom sa bopp la boo ko xoolee ci beneen côté même boo génnee diine bi aussi yoon la boo xamante ni bi jaar nañu fa ba moom suñu bopp ndaxte mucc ci nooteel yi nga xamante ne bi tubaab bi ñëw jël suñu koom jël suñu lépp waaye nag Serigne Touba yàlla may ko mu jaar fii ba nga xam ne képp ku ci jaar aussi di nga mucc ci jug colonial boobu donc noonu loolu tamit beneen aspect la boo xamante ni bi dañu war di ko souligner te aspect bu am solo la.
Layla, thank you for the positive answer. And you talk about resistance, and you know that Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba was resisting against the colonialists. Yeah. And as a result, he was sent to exile to Gabon for 7 years. Mm-hmm. Because the point of the colonists was to brainwash the African people, to turn them into assimilated people and forget their own culture. Mm-hmm. But Bamba has succeeded in founding like Mouridism, which is for me like a religious nationalism. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Don't you think that this religious nationalism has kind of a little bit helped Africans, like mostly Senegalese, to keep up with their own culture and not become like really assimilated or brainwashed?
Well, I think it was very important for Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba and Ibrahim Fall to do what they. I think it was very important to do what they did in order to keep the Senegalese culture intact. You know, because if the colonial powers would have it their way, I believe that the entire culture would be completely, turned on its head. And, it would look, Senegal would look very different than it is right now, So I think it was very important. I think that, Allah made us into many nations and many people. And, it's okay to keep your culture. It's okay to be who you are. You don't have to, be one thing or be the other. You be, you are who you are, and you keep your culture. And and that's what I meant about the resistance part, because Sheikh Bamba was very peaceful. There were other historical figures in Senegal and in the Senegalese region at the time that actually waged war. But Sheikh Bamba, they had another method of keeping the French away or keeping them at a distance. So I think that what they did was very important in terms of African history. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is what we call like a spiritual war. He launched a spiritual war against the colonists without using weapons, without using anything. Sen, do you have Sen?
Waaw, Ibu, li nga ko laaj dafa am solo puisque sànq bi muy wax ci yoonu murit tamit indi na forme révolution boobu nag yow da nga ci ñëwaat nekkoon nag affaire résistance nekk ndax gisul wàllu résistance ci yoonu murit bi nga xam ne Sëñ Tuubaa mu ngi ko taxawal en 1883 mu ne loolu lu am solo la ndaxte nit ki war na am identité am nit en tant qu'Africain war nga gis sa bopp ci ne kat man am tànk yoo xam moom nga taxawee ne kat man lii moo fii laa toog sama ànd mu ngi nii léegi nag ànd boobu bu la ci nit bëggee yëkkati dafay doy waar léegi nag il faut nga am yoon woo xamante ne bi mooy sa yoon struggle foo xamante ni bi noonu ngay def ba des ci sa ànd boobu puisque olof def na aussi ku wàcc sa ànd boo dem fekk borom toog ca donc loolu la développé noonu nekkat vraiment forme de résistance la yow it nga am ci wax ci lu am solo muy résistance spirituelle kooku beneen forme la boo xamante ne bii nit ci sa diine ci sa yoon bi nga xam ci nga jëmee ci suñu borom kat yoonu résistance la ndaxte ñun boo koy xool ci wàllu diine aussi yoon woowu boo ci toppee seytaan yi dina jóge fu nekk pour fàggagal la waaye nag aussi xam ne ku jëm ci suñu borom moom kattan ngay àndal résistance spirituelle boobu lu am solo la loo xamante ne bii Serigne Touba liggéey na ci liggéey woo xam ne wër na àdduna bi yëpp.
ñoo ngi fàttali sunu mbokk déglukat yi ne tey sunu invité tey bi Layla nekk artiste photographe documentariste def benn documentaire si Baye Fall yi que documentaire boobu film ñoo ngi koy exposé fi mu nekk fii Makoda benn musée bu nekk fii ci Brooklyn te en même temps aussi am na beneen exposition bi nga xam ne am na ko en Belgique non Florence en Italie. tamit sunu mbokk déglukat yi ko mel ni Maysa wala Bamba ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk en Europe bu ñu bëggee téléphoné tamit bu ñu leen téléphoné. Layla, I want to just ask you like one question. So how do you see the place of woman in the Baifal Brotherhood, like the Yaifal?
Yeah, the Yaifal.
Yeah, because I saw pictures of the Yaifal and they're really beautiful and they dress up in very beautiful clothes.
Yeah, thank
How
you.
do you approach those Yaifal? And tell me, like, how do you see them in the Murid Brotherhood, the role they play in it?
Well, like as I mentioned before, being in Senegal and being with the Maurids and the Baifal was very comfortable, just because, I am Muslim and coming from a Sufi tradition, so there were many similarities. With the Yaifal, it was just the same thing, They were very welcoming. They welcomed me as a sister. They answered my questions. They taught me. They treated me very well. And one of the reasons I went back to Senegal actually in February because I went to the Magal to Korohan because I understand that there's an annual and I found that to be incredible because this is the mother of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, and for it to be a separate pilgrimage just for her, that says something very positive about the woman, And so I really like that. So I went there and I participated in that journey, and I went to her gravesite and, spent time with a lot of the Baifal and the Yaifal, and I learned a lot, and I was able to make some photographs. And, I just wanted to say this project is just a small part of the Maurice. This is just very small because this community is huge, and this is just my very small contribution, my small perspective in this huge community. So,
Okay, Ibu, we have a caller from out of town, international, so I'm going to give him the floor. But before I give him the line, so I'm going to translate in few words what Layla has just said. Bon, Layla, Ibu daf ko laaj ndax jigéen ñi place su jigéen ci reportage moom def ci communauté Baye Fall bi jigéen ñooñu xam nga ne soxna yi fépp fu ñu nekk fu góor yàlla yi nekk soxna yi aussi dinañ fa nekk seen place mu laaj ko place su jigéen ñi nan la ko gisee ñooñu nga xam ne ci biir communauté Baye Fall ñoo def ay yaay Fall mu ne ko moom day ba muy doog a ñëw vraiment amul problème adaptation puisque moom ci boppam jullit la bi mu ñëwee góor ñi yaatal nañ ko mu gis aussi jigéen ñi impressionné ko mu commencé di nekk ak ñoom di leen laaj ay questions ñoom it yombalal ko liggéey bi donc loolu daal en gros loolu la wax nee na jigéen ñi vraiment ñu baax la ñu yaay Faal yi tamit gis na leen dañu rafet solo comme góor ñi mais côté féminin bi donc loolu daal la tënk. En attendant, somebody was calling, but he's out of the line, but he's gonna call back again. I think he's from Germany. Okay, Ibu.
Yeah, this conversation is very interesting because you went deep in the heart of Muridism. You went to Farrakhan. You went to Tuba. No, tell us about we know that there are a lot of transportation problems in Africa. Tell us about your experience with your travels, with the Kavapid, the apprentice, and all those things?
Yeah, I went everywhere I go in Senegal, where it's in Jar, Cherry, Tuba, Porohan. Everywhere I go, I take step back. It's okay with me. No problem. I think the only time I was annoyed was when I went to oh goodness, what's the name of the city in the south? And the road.
Saint-Louis?
Sorry, Ibu, before the line cuts off again, we have somebody on the line from Germany, I think. Assalamu alaikum, ki woote
Kaolack, yeah.
Assalamu alaikum 49. am nañ kóolo bu nekk ci ligne bi.
I love traveling.
Hello, wait. Ibu.
It's incredible. You stop, you're in the town.
Ibu.
Yes.
Hello? Layla, we have somebody calling. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Hello, wait, ñu ngi lay dégg.
Hello, it's me, Yankee. I just want to say hi to everybody in the radio of Pikine Diaspora, and of course our sister Layla.
Hi.
And, Hi, how are you?
What's your name?
It's nice of you, and thank you for your great work and your beautiful kindness. And our country in Senegal, now you are also like me, Senegalese woman. Yeah.
Thank you.
And
what's your name?
Yeah, my name is Bianca.
Okay. And
I'm from Senegal, but I live in Germany.
Oh, in Germany. Oh, okay. Cool. What city?
Yeah, I live like miles. It's not far from Frankfurt.
Oh, okay. I got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, and thank you for your great work. I'm such happy, and I don't know what to say. And of course, Sering Bamba and all of Mbake people, they are so kind and generous people. Yes, very kind.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, thank you for calling in, and thank you for listening. And what time?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, are you interested to live maybe one day in Senegal or just for a couple of years? What do you think about this?
I was just speaking to my best friend, Delphine. Hi, Delphine. We were just talking about me going to live in Senegal. Everyone asked me that because...
Yeah, that's going to be just nice.
Yeah, I lived there a long time ago when I first went, but this project, I've been going back and forth for the past 3 years.
Yeah, I heard,
yeah, so I would love to live in Senegal. That's my favorite place to be.
Yeah, and and our religion, like since to be a Muslim in Senegal is very very peaceful, and I think this is good experience to show your pictures and different countries, so they're gonna see that to be Muslim is not just because it's negative. I think it's very very nice of you, and God bless you and keep the good work.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Bye bye. God bless you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Alors, au revoir, Ibu, ak Modou, ak ñëpp.
Okay, thank you, Janke. Janke is a Senegalese artist, visual artist living in Germany.
Oh, great.
Allez.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. We love you. Bye.
Modou. I want to say, Layla, I just want to clarify the part where you talked about the bad roads. That's after fatigue. When you go past Kaolack, the road is terrible.
Yeah, that's the only time. The only time I was just wondering, like, oh my goodness, what is this? But every place I go, Rafis, I went to Indem, to Mansamba Collection, Luga, and everywhere is good. I love the step class. It's great.
I mean, I'm sorry you went through that experience because it's okay. A good 2.5 hours was nothing but roughness and body shakes. So even the community comes out, the children, to fill those potholes to help the cars to go through easy. So hopefully before the end of the decade, it'll be fixed.
Yeah.
One point of clarification that I wanted to bring when you mentioned the contemporary times, and I think also Ibu touched on it a little bit when he talked about the worshiping through hard work and so on. Just a little point of distinction is that when the work of Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba has been needs to be separated in two parts. Okay, in my view. And one part is the colonial times when he fought the revolution, fought the people. Because in those days, what he did was as mighty as an army, the army of Napoleon. With respect to him not having the means to fight, not having an army, only spiritual weaponry that God had, helped him with. But the other part, though, that we neglected is the cultural legacy that he brought. Okay, whereby the resistance even came from there, by people chanting and reciting the work he did in that 7-year exile that Ibu was talking about. Most of us learned about the Sheikh through that experience. Okay, did you notice that?
Did I notice that are you talking about in contemporary times or in the?
Yes, we talk about him mostly from the exile, the 7-year trip that he took, and coming back to us as this mystic person, this sort of a saint, this prophet, in the view of children growing up and so on. But we don't push those who push as far as spirituality and Quran knowledge is concerned. Those are the scholars of Muridism. But it's about maybe a good 15% of the Murid population. But the other 85% focus their work on the cultural effect of it, the resistance, the trip. In other words, the miracles. If you take it back to the times of the Sahaba, the Prophet Muhammad, you say the miracles of the Prophet. So I think our country also lives upon the miracle of the Sheikh upon his return. Did you have that sensation? Did you feel that way?
I felt both ways. Like I felt like, when I spoke to people, a lot of people did speak about the miracles that happened when he was in Gabon, on his way to Gabon, when he was in exile in what's now Mauritania. But also a lot of people really looked to his readings because he was a scholar. So his readings, his writings, his poetry was also in a lot of my conversations. And a lot of the singing and the chanting, the qasida, is based on his writings too. So I think that there was a good balance between the actual scholarship and the legacies and the miracles of Sheikh Bamba. Mm-hmm.
Good, just think.
And Layla, was amazing that when Sheikh Ahmad Bamba was sent to exile to Gabon for 7 years, when he was released, he came out of that prison with several volumes of writings. He wrote a lot of books, a lot. And then as a result, they even opened a library for all the books he wrote. Mm-hmm. And this brings back to what somebody was saying, that the prison is the university of life. Mm-hmm. for him, because it was in that exile that he got a chance to do all the work he's done. Did you get a chance to visit the library in Tuba?
I did. Oh yeah, I when I was in Tuba, I went to the library. I spoke. I saw there was a room blocked off with all of his items. Mm-hmm. And everything like that, and I did make some pictures of that. So, but it was amazing to see the actual volumes of books that he did produce. And I, that's something I think that should be, it is accessible, but I think more people should know about all of his scholarship because it was definitely a lot.
Yeah, but it's like really disturbing that in Africa, if you don't speak English or French or Spanish, they call you illiterate. And he didn't speak any of those languages, but he succeeded in founding something that is still resisting right now, that is still growing. And he wrote so many books that there's a library for him. And his teaching is still like spreading around the world. And the aside he wrote. And what he inspired, and everything is through like tolerance, launching a spiritual war, no weapon and nothing, don't kill, don't steal. You know, it's like it is like something really noble. This is another side of Islam that a lot of people don't see.
Well, it's there, and definitely Sheikh Bamba was not illiterate. Of course, that's obvious. I think people who want to believe that, they're just resisting the idea that he was a brilliant spiritual person. And I think that if there's a lot of groups in the world, a lot of Muslim groups in the world, like the Baifal, who are peaceful, who stick to the original tenets of Islam, which are peaceful tenets too. I just think that there's a lot of the negativity is just unfortunately overshadowing it, and it gets into the press a lot too. More than the peaceful side, unfortunately.
And other than that, the Baifals are really contributing to the economic development of Senegal in terms of creating their own business, their radio station, television station, building up roads. It's like it's another facet, it's another thing, and that really helps like the African continent to develop and go further in terms of like spirituality, economics, and everything.
Yeah, and a lot of that is it comes from name Sheikh Ibrahim Afal. His brilliance in forming this whole economic way of being. And even now, a lot of the money that comes into Senegal from the Baifal, it matches or even is more than some of the foreign aid that comes in. So that's really incredible too, especially since it's still in effect to this day.
Ibu ma wax foofu tuuti rek ndaxte ñuy fàttali ne suñu mbokk auditeurs yi ñu ngi am Layla américaine la noire américaine boo xam ne vraiment intellectuelle la ba pare di artiste cinéaste moom moo dem Sénégal def reportage bu mag ci Baye Fall yi ñëw exposé ko fii ci musée yi fii ak ci galerie yi ak ci salle de cinéma yi te am ci ay résultats yoo xamante ne vraiment c'est résultats satisfaisants. moom la ñu am tey ci agriculture pour mu waxtaanal ñu vraiment ci documentaire boobu mu def ci Baye Fall yi Sénégal indi ko fii exposé ko ba pare bu fi jógee États-Unis da koy yóbbu Italie exposé ko fa sànq nag dañ ko doon laaj question yu bari Assane laaj na ko ci affaire nu mu gisee daal Serigne Touba ak par exemple Yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam bu muy doog a ñëw di taxawal diine l'islam yàlla di ko yónni xat-xat yi mu jaar ak coono yi mu daj ak yëpp pour taxawal loolu. moom daal nan la ko jàngatee ci côté Serigne Touba mu ne ko nag moom gëstu na mbiru Serigne Bamba xam ne demoon na Gabon demoon na Mauritanie te vraiment xat-xat yooyu mu nekkoon yëpp wane na ci njàmbaar wane na ci aussi loo xamante ne bii luy jàngal adduna bi la ba pare ibu na ko kat xam nañ ne prison buñ koy wax en général ñu ngi koy wax ne mooy université adduna ndax Serigne Touba bi mu demee Gabon tubaab bi dañu wax ne dañ ko tëj ci kaso mais aussi bind na lu bari. ci la ko laaj ndax visité na mbindum Serigne Touba mu ne ko waaw moom xam na xasida yi puisque bi mu demee Touba tamit dem na daaray kaamil photo fa gis na mais nee na Serigne Touba ci moom intellectuel bu mag la woon puisque li mu bind ak ni mu jëfee ak li mu am ci yoonu murid yëpp loolu neen mayu ko il faut nitu kese daal mënul def loolu boo ko Ibou laajee aussi ci affaire économie bi nga xam ne moom la murid di contribuer mu ne voilà loolu vraiment tamit lu yéeme la. ndax business yu bari ñoom it ci développement économique ak lépp yoonu Serigne Touba bi vraiment gis na ne aussi moo ngi ci def lu am solo loo xamante ne bi lépp luy jëmale humanité kanam la lépp loo xam dafay jëmale yoonu l'islam kanam moom daal loolu la jàng ci biir lim ci jàng yëpp daal c'est positif moom daal kontaan na ci te bëgg na daal ci réalisation bi mu def en grosso modo.
Layla, we know you have a dual museum show. I mean, are you having another show going on right now in Florence in Italy?
Yeah, just it's a small part of the Bifal show is in a bigger exhibition there called Resignification, and it's curated by Awam Amka. He's a Nigerian professor, but he teaches at NYU.
Okay. So, how did you get connected with the curator to be part of this show?
Oh, well, I was a student at NYU, and so I was already part of that community, and the curator knew that I was a photographer. I think we met the first time in Paris a few years ago at an NYU conference, and we became friends, and we just got to talking, and he invited me to be in the next show.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Layla aussi moom ci beneen show ci benn musée liggéey bi nga xam ne moom la def ci Baye Fall yi ci benn musée foofu ci Italie en Florence. Let's now talk about fashion. I know that Layla likes fashions because wherever I see her, she's nicely dressed up, either in African style or American style.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
Let's talk about the fashion, the design you see in the Bifal, like how they dress, how they make their own clothes, their own shoes, their own socks, and everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's right, the patchwork, which is what we know for the Bifal. And from what I learned, the story of the Nyahas is Sheikh Ibrahim Afal. He would go around and he would sit with people and they would talk and they would exchange, and part of that exchange was sometimes they would give him tissue fabric, and he would take this fabric and make these clothes, and at the time I think his clothes were more functional, but as time developed, like in contemporary times, of course the Bifal, the Maurids, they want to emulate and look like Ibrahim Afal, so they wear the Nyahas, they wear the patchwork, but now it's very nice and beautiful and stylish, and it's the different colors and different. What I noticed was different daras, different communities, they have their own colors, Like my friend Atutu, his community, they are white and green and black. And even the woman that I photographed, Sansa Kadiba, she passed away, but she was a very important singer, Yaifal singer and healer, a community person. She was also part of that dara that wore the black and the white and the green. And the picture that I took of her, she's wearing a lot of the Nyahas, the patchwork. So that's just some of the examples that I saw. I saw the black and I saw the white Bifal only wearing black and white. Of course, I have many pictures of the community that wears all of the shades of blue. Which I thought was beautiful. And so, it's really interesting. I really do love the way how industrious the Bifal and the Yaifal are. They do make everything, and they make the beautiful talismans that I love with the leather, and they have the zikr beads that they really handcraft in a very artisanal way. It's just a very beautiful artistic community, and then even with the music and the singing, it's just such a rich community that just my project is just some of who they are, but they are so much more, and I hope that I captured some of their amazing essence in my pictures.
Yeah, because they create their own music, their own shoes, they create everything. They almost don't buy anything.
Yeah.
And now, let's talk about your models. The models that I've seen are very black. And I don't call them black, but they're blue-black. How do you call it? How do you select them?
Like what? The skin color?
Yeah, the skin color. Were you looking for blue-black African guys or red eyes?
For anybody. I wasn't looking for anyone. I just,
But they're special, the way they look, and you think these are supermodels,
Yeah, no, they're definitely beautiful, and it's just a beautiful skin and clear, smooth skin, but that's just that Senegalese flavor, Yeah, I wasn't looking for anyone. Everyone who was open to talking to me and open to being photographed. And, that those are the people who I photographed and I connected with. But I definitely didn't have like, let me look for this guy or let me look for this lady.
And then you mentioned that you lived in Dakar, like in Plateau, and like in Dakar with the bifowl, like in the time they're in the middle of the street, like singing them songs, like that. Did you get a chance to sing with them?
I did. I got a chance to sing with them, and one of the things that I did do, because I noticed the different types of singing, I recorded a lot of the different types, because there's a lot, the singing that you hear sometimes at night in Plateau, is sometimes very loud and then, has a lot of volume. But then you go around to the different genres, like in the Tif or tuba, and then it's very melodic, and it has a lot of melody, and you have different sections who are singing. So, I tried to record some of those and try to engage with some of the people that I photographed to have them, tell me about the different types of singing the kachida, So, and I really love that. I have a lot of the books, that were being sung, and yeah, it was incredible. But I do love, like, at night walking down the street and hearing them sing. I really love that. That's incredible to me.
Yeah, and like this young group, the Izvul Tarwihia, like students, and like they recite like poems and Shahamud Bamba. It's just like 100 people reciting a poem. How do you see that? Because when we talk about poetry over here, it's one person reciting a poem, but they like 100 people or more than that reciting poem and singing the same verse and not mistaking nothing.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. When I was in Ches, there was about 20 men singing. It was after Asr, and they were singing, and it was so incredible. I did record it and then speak to them afterwards, but I just hope that I just got the amazing essence of the chanting and the recitation. It was so incredible, And even in tuba at night, it's just I can't even describe it, because you just hear all of these beautiful voices just resonating all throughout the city. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, at night it's like amazing. I remember the first time I went to Tuba. I reached there around like 3 a.m.
Yeah,
it was so fascinating. I thought it was daytime forever. I stood like 24 hours without sleeping. I ended up like laying down on the mat and sleeping on the street.
Wow. Yeah, you can do that. You can completely do that in tuba. Just lay your head, rest your head, and you're okay. It's a safe place like that.
Yeah. So we Layla, anything that you want to talk about that I didn't ask you?
I think we spoke about everything. I'm just very happy that I was able to do this project, because it's something that I wanted to do for a long time. First time going to Senegal, 19 years old, and there's so many things I want to do, but then I was actually able to go back and really engage like I wanted to, and I learned so much, so much about myself.
Layla.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you quickly before the end of the program. The difference that if you found any difference between when you first went there in 2000, the way that the city looked like or the village looked like, as compared to the way it looks like now in terms of infrastructure, building development, and advancement of the community in your view. In those 13 years,
Let's see. Well, there's definitely more development. You have things like the auto route. You have the new garage. That's in Pikine now. Avenue Ponte, it kind of looks the same, except there's no more Adamis. But Alibaba is still there.
No, I'm talking about Tuba itself. Tuba.
Oh, Tuba. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, there's parts of the mosque that weren't there. Like before, there was a long I don't know how to describe it, like a long way entrance before you go in that's not there. And then there's new things and there's old things, you know. And then Tuba, I think has been definitely more developed going over the years, you know.
Mm-hmm. Do they have the heliport now? You can fly in with a helicopter and land.
Oh, see, I didn't even know about that because, you know, I only take the step class, so I don't know.
Well, now you can go by helicopter. It makes me feel better.
Next time I'll think about that.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Layla, can you please remind people the address of Mokwada, which is in Brooklyn, Handsome Street?
Okay. Yeah, so Mokwada Museum is in Brooklyn. It's in Fort Greene, which is near downtown. It's at 80 Hampton Place. It's easily accessible. Any train you can take to Barclays Center, C train to Lafayette. The website is mocada.org. You know, that's the website, and all of the information is there.
Okay, ñi nga xam ne bëgg nañ dem ci show bi nga xam ne Layla moo ko am fii ci Brooklyn, fii ci New York. Moo ngi nekk 18 Hanson Street. 18 Hanson Street mun nga jël Blue Line bi si train de la wàcce station bi si Lafayette moo ngi nekk foofu wala mun ko dugg tamit si Mokwada Museum. Mokwada Museum of Contemporary African and Diaspora Art mu nekk musée bi nga xam ne aaru diaspora dañ fay wane aaru africain yëpp li nga xam ne dañuy liggéey ci wàllu aar lu jëm si xeetu nit ku ñuul. Sunu ganu tey bi nag mooy Layla nekk documentariste nekk aussi tamit photographe def liggéey bi nga xam ne liggéey bu am solo la parce que depuis 2000 ba tey moo ngi dem Sénégal def bi yoon nag dafa dem Sénégal liggéey ci wàllu mouridisme ci wàllu Baye Fall jël fa ay photo yi nga xam ne photo yu rafet la def ko ci benn galerie fii ci New York mu nekk exposition bi nga xam ne newspaper yi bind nañ ci lu am solo. Layla, thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to have you over here.
Thank
you. Do you want to give a highlight or thank any of your friends and people?
Yeah.
No,
well, of course, I want to thank May Allah grant her Jannah for allowing me to photograph her and sharing. You know, she shared her music with me and her family by Sheikh and the children. I also want to thank my very good friend Ibrahim Cham, who was very helpful with me with traveling into Cuba. And just all of my good friends in Dakar and everywhere, and Rafis and Chez and Dar, my friend Jory, just everyone in New York, you know, everyone that was supportive of me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Layla, and thanks for accepting our invitation at Radio Pikine Diaspora, which is the Diaspora Radio based right here in New York. Thank you very much, Layla. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Assalamu alaikum.
Maalaikum salam.
Ibu, let her say a few words in Wolof.
Okay, we want to test all of your voice vocabulary.
I'm gonna fail.
We know you know, like that. Get it again.
Yes. No to do, Layla, la to do.
Oh, yeah, that's good. So you passed. You got A. That's an A.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for sharing your African experience, Layla.
You are welcome. Thank you for having me on this show. It's an honor.
Yeah, and see you around.
See you around.
Okay.